Hi, my name's Amanda Marks and welcome to Watercolor Basics. I'm going to jump right in here and get started. The first set that I'm going to discuss are brushes. These particular brushes are flat brushes, as you can see. They're just basic flat brushes. This is a synthetic flat brush. This brush I use for even washes, gradient backgrounds. If I have a large painting that I'm doing, I'll go through and I'll use that particular brush. These two brushes are smaller flat brushes. I use these for dry brush techniques, which I will be demonstrating in a later episode. This is my shader brush. It's an angle brush. I use these for leaves, also roofs on buildings. This brush I use for shorelines. This is my shoreline. I enjoy painting quite a bit of landscapes, and that brush comes in handy when I do that. This is a fan brush. As you can see, this fan brush happens to be brand new. I don't like to use fan brushes in watercolors, but I have it in there just in case. These are my mop brushes. Actually, this is a big round brush, but it's shaped sort of like a round mop brush. This particular brush is a mop brush. This is a synthetic 1/2-inch mop brush. As you can see, just by doing that with my finger or against my hand, how soft it is. I want to apologize for the lighting. I'm new to this whole web thing, so this is my first web episode, and I just want to go through and apologize for the setup up front. And these particular brushes are my round brushes. This one is a number 1 camel hair. I use these as general painting. If I'm filling in a bird, I'll use it. These brushes I use for gradient washes. Perfect for gradient washes, wet on wet techniques, which I'll also demonstrate in later episodes. This particular one is a number 3. This is a $2 brush. This particular brush is a red sable. Land Nickel pure red sable brush. It is made in Germany. I paid $40 for this brush. $2? $40. Which brush do I like better? Well, this brush. Now, if someone was to buy me or hand me this brush, would I be disappointed? No. This is a very good $2 brush. I got this at Michael's. Paid $2 for it. Actually, I think I paid $1 for it. It was 50% off. It's a good little dollar brush. This particular brush, as I said, I've had it since high school. I would never spend $40 on a brush. I love this brush, but knowing that there are cheaper brushes out there and I could spend that money on something else, leaves me to believe that the older expensive brushes, granted they are good, the Germans make fantastic brushes. I personally would never be disappointed if someone got me a red sable brush, but I probably won't go out and buy a new set of red sable brushes. I'm a very detailed-oriented painter. One of the things that I like to paint with are my liners. This is my liner. This is my very, very well-loved, as you can see, how well-loved this brush is, script brush. When I use this particular brush, I'll just dip it in water and twist it. And that gives me the point that I'm looking for. It's just when it dries, it goes all haywire. This is just another round brush, a cheap craft brush. There are different types of paint. You have your cake paint, which is this particular set, and I have it set in water, so I have water set in this one, so I don't want to tip it too much because I don't want water to go all over the place. But this particular set is a dollar store purchase that I got for my daughter. I just want to demonstrate that you don't have to go out and buy the good Winsor Newton, Grumbacher, or Uric paints. I love my watercolor paints. Personally, I have a whole tackle box full of watercolor paint, and that is not an exaggeration. I decided to take a different approach with this particular segment, and I always get, oh, I can't afford it, or oh, I'm just not artsy when it comes to painting. Painting is a skill. I have been painting for over 20 years, and I learned how to paint in watercolors with the cheapest, crappiest paint you could imagine. I think it was actually one step below the watercolor paint that I'm going to demonstrate. I lived in a small town. There was no real art supply store. I had to get all my art supplies at Shopko, Kmart. So I used a lot of Crayola growing up and praying. It wasn't until really I was in high school with the beginning stages of the internet that I actually was able to start ordering things from big names. I did order catalogs. Dick Blick. I love Dick Blick. But now with the internet, you essentially can get pretty much anything, anywhere, from anywhere in the world, really, really cheap. Now, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to move my camera down here in just a second. Just a basic even wash with dollar store children's watercolor. So let me move the webcam down. And this particular technique, as you can see, here's the Christmas tree. This particular set came, was the Disney Princess watercolor paint set. This is my daughter's. She got from her brother for Christmas. And now when you're using a cheaper paint, you can see the swirls in the green. You just want to try to get it as even as possible, because the more you move it around and the wetter it is, the easier it will be to spread. First thing you want to do, and this is just basic watercolor paper. I think I bought it at Michael's. Cheap stuff. You just want to go through and you want to get water on there. All watercolor paper comes with sizing. This will enable your watercolor to spread more evenly. I'm teaching a basic even wash, and I just want to go through, and as you can see, it's just your basic wash. And I'm just going through and I'm just trying to get it as even as possible. I like to do an even wash for all of my watercolors that I have. I'll do like a grid, like a 1 by 1 inch grid, and go through and do a basic even wash just so I can go through and have a color sheet of what I have on hand. Paints lie on the covers. I've found that out. And it's always nice just to see exactly what color you're getting. It also helps you practice your even washes. Getting something even can be very tricky. It's always nice to have a sheet of paper towel here. The thing that you'll have to remember with the cheaper watercolors is that they don't have as much pigment as like the Winsor Newton or the Grumbacher, so it's going to be a lot lighter. Most people associate watercolors with a light technique, very watery. If I want a very watercolor, a traditional watercolor, I will use a cheap watercolor because it doesn't have as much pigment. And when I paint with watercolors, I tend to get my watercolors very, very dark. It's just how I was taught. I was taught oil, acrylic, and watercolors. Most people learn watercolor, oil, acrylic. So if I want this light, I will go through and use a cheap Crayola watercolor. Now I'm going to tilt this up and show, this is a watercolor that I did earlier in even wash. This is an indigo. This is Grumbacher. As you can see, in even a nice even wash, you get a better even wash with a cheaper paint. If you're looking for a nice even wash, go with a cheaper paint. If you don't care if it's, you know, all that even, you just want it as close to even as possible, go with a more expensive, darker paint. Now, I can easily go through and get this particular even wash, go through and do another layer, water it out, to get a little bit more even. I'm going to actually turn the camera back up here and just sign off. I want to thank everyone for watching this basic even wash technique with cheap dollar store watercolors. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more information about myself, please check out my blog. It's ajsarts.blogspot.com. I have all sorts of crafty adventures, and my portfolio of all my artwork is on my blog. Please join us again next time for the second installment of Watercolor Basics 101. Thank you very much. Bye.